Let's take a look at the decisive moment in the BJJ Stars match between Mica Galvao and Otavio Nalati. To overcome this enormous size disparity, Mica Galvao uses the partial lasso, the nerve punch or press choke, and a 2-on-1 back take with some modifications. I chose this particular sequence because these are moves that I constantly preach to my students, especially smaller ones, to use against larger opponents. So if you didn't take my word for it, here's the proof. Mica Galvao first tries to manage the distance with the spider hook, but it's not enough to keep Otavio from pressuring in. So Mica Galvao responds by using a press choke to push Otavio away, allowing him to enter the closed guard. Here we see Mica Galvao making a reverse grip on the collar, using a stiff arm, and turning his knuckles towards the tender part of Otavio's neck. While this may not choke someone unconscious, it does discourage the person from applying pressure towards their intended target. Because Otavio is much bigger, Mica doesn't hold the closed guard long. He just uses it as sort of a reset, allowing him to go back to an open guard on his terms, which he does by finding space beneath Otavio's arms, and he inserts a knee shield. Once we understand why Otavio chooses to base the way he does, then we can understand how Mica systematically dismantles his structure. As I'm sure you've heard before, Jiu-Jitsu is a battle for space. As Mica opens up his guard, Otavio immediately closes the space between them. He also glues his elbow pretty close to his body and presses down on Mica's thigh. And he chooses to maintain the double collar grip. Even though it looks like Otavio's right arm is isolated, it is actually very strongly connected to the body. Because of the combination of Otavio's posture, his collar grip, and the elbow control over the thigh, and even the left arm in this case, Mica's movements are severely restricted. And of course, the size difference plays a big role in this. Mica escapes to his side, which allows him to get his left leg between Otavio's elbow and body. Since the collar grip is still intact, Otavio hasn't lost control just yet. Next, Mica presses in with his knee shield, freeing up his left leg. And now he's able to put in a lasso, which in the previous configuration would have taken a lot of effort. Using the partial lasso, Mica is able to break Otavio's grip. So piece by piece, Mica is working to isolate the arm. The moment Mica goes in for the lasso, Otavio pummels his hand to the outside. This can help him avoid the lasso entirely and change up his method of passing, but at the very least he could put tension on Mica's grip. Because Otavio's right arm is still in an unfavorable position for Mica, he decides to throw in the lasso one more time. However, the pocket grip with his left hand is just out of range, and it wouldn't be a good idea for Mica to hold on to it. And now, anticipating that Otavio is going to pummel to the outside one more time, he lets go of the grip and he reaches to the outside. Had Mica caught the grip on the outside, he could have placed in a spider or just had any sort of control on the sleeve while maintaining inside control with his legs, making sure that Otavio's grips didn't generate any sort of offense. So Otavio does one more thing. He raises his arm up and out of Mica's reach, and then back to the inside to set up pressure passing. So just as Otavio is getting ready to lean in for his pressure pass, Mica does this quasi-scissor sweep. He chops with his right leg and he steps in with his left, and this left leg connects to Otavio's right knee, and it's kind of hard to see, but he stretches that knee out. This forces Otavio to remove his right arm to catch his balance. And when he removes the arm, Mica is able to obtain it. Once Mica isolates the arm, he begins to do a classic 2-on-1 back take. Because he has the arm isolated so well, it's essentially most of Mica Galvao's body versus this one arm of Otavio. Otavio is trying to chase and bring the rest of his body back in play, but before he can do so, Mica hips out enough times and exposes the back. Go to fightbackcbd.com and use discount code DARKNESS. You'll receive 15% off your purchases, and you're going to feel at least 15% better when you use the freeze roll-on. So now we'll watch the entire clip in real time.